answer your question, the first one, I'll continue living and volunteering like I have been for the last 20 years in this community. I've been a Sunday school teacher. I've helped with our men's clubs groups. I've helped with a great number of different volunteer groups in our community. I'll keep doing that. For me, I'll still be in office actually as a city councilman if in the event that I don't win. So I will continue with, in fact, Councilman Turner and I have created a breakfast meeting the first Thursday of the month where we get a chance to listen to people from throughout the entire community, what their concerns are, and we solve problems right there at those meetings. And what's really great about having those meetings at City Hall is that we can run upstairs and meet with any director in City Hall to resolve issues pretty quickly. So I'll still be on as an elected official and continue to volunteer in the community. You know, and I liked what the comments that Jihan has made with education, and zip codes shouldn't define the level of education or the quality of education that kids should get. I mean, that's the most important thing that we need to be able to address. Some of the things that I am in favor of is having no caps for charter schools. Early on, I was part of an advisory group that got the first charter school going here in Peoria. I went to some of the, I guess, economically challenged areas of Chicago to see. It's not the building, it's not the technology, it's not the computers, it's the desire of parents, it's the desire of students and teachers, principals, administrators, to see their children be successful in school. So I believed in that charter school, and that's why I was involved with it and early on and was part of getting that going. So I am for charter schools and with no caps in our area. The other part I think is important to it as well is I believe in voucher systems. If a school is failing your child, if a school is overcrowded or it's not a fit for your child, you should be able to take those dollars and get your child in the school that he or she will be successful in.
It's very good to be here this evening with the NAACP. Well, for about the last year, my husband and I have traveled all 20 counties here in the 18th Congressional District. We've put about 50,000 miles on our Ford Escape. And we have had the opportunity to talk to people from all different walks of lives. And what I'd like to tell you is that there are a lot of people with many, many different perspectives when you have a chance to talk to them. But even though there are a lot of different people with a lot of takes on what goes on, I've found that we all have one thing in common, and that's our Midwestern values. And those are values that I think we all hold very dear. Things like hard work and honesty and loyalty to our family and to our community and to our country. And I also think that over the past year, we've all shared one other thing. And that's the greatest struggle of our lives, or the lives of anyone in this country, since the Great Depression. Now, you know, I think if we look around at many of the people in the room this evening, we can figure that most of us are far better off than many other people in our community. But there are a lot of our neighbors who are not very well off. In fact, we have 15% of the people who live in the 18th Congressional District who live in poverty. And in the 18th District, more than 57,000 households get food stamps. There's more than 13,000 households right here in Peoria County who get food stamps. And if we look at what the minimum wage is in Illinois, it's $8.25. Well, I'm here to tell you that what's called the subsistency rate, the subsistency wage for a single parent and 2 children. And I think most of us know that nearly all single parent families are single mother families. Mother and 2 children, the subsistency rate is between $15 and $21 an hour. And that $21 an hour is right here in Peoria County. Now I'm going to tell you that equates to just about $49,000 a year. And I would like for you all to tell me how many single mothers with 2 children that you know in Peoria County who make almost $50,000 a year. It's not very many, is it? You see, my life has led me to a place where I can understand what it means to struggle. Because when I was 9 months old, my daddy was killed in a car wreck. And my mother and I returned to her family's farm where my grandma and my grandpa scraped to make a living. And where my mother saved, just like I bet each and every one of you in here save for your kids. You save and you sacrifice so that they can have a better life than you have today. And that family of mine who inspired me to go on and to get an education, who struggled and who sacrificed for me, instilled in me one other thing, and that was that I had a responsibility to give back. I had a responsibility to help people who were less fortunate than I am. And that same sense of responsibility lies deep in the heart of my husband, Chuck Geiger, who couldn't be here with me this evening. He travels many places with me. But he served our country for 28 years. And he knows often what it means to put country above self. We're a team in this effort. We're a team to serve the people here in the 18th District. And that's my only ambition, to help improve the lives of people who are far less fortunate than I, like Democrats do, to give a voice to the people who are voiceless. And I will tell you that unlike one of my opponents, who doesn't happen to be here this evening, Mr. Aaron Schock, I'm not interested in being a media star or a rising figure in some political party. I am a proud Democrat, but I'm a proud Democrat who wants to serve the people who live in this district. That's my only ambition. Thank you for letting me be here this evening.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to the NAACP for allowing us to bring our campaign to you, the people. And I think that's one of the things that I'm about. I think that's one of the things that all candidates should be about, bringing the campaign to the people. And many of you do know me because I've been here in Peoria for 34 years, and I bring a lot of my personal experience to the table. I've been going around to all 22 counties, all 14,000 square miles over the last few months, and talking to people. And I hand them our campaign card because it provides a quick look at what we're about. But the first line is what I always tell people. The first line, it says, free of special interests. And on the back side, it says people should come first, not corporate and special interest groups. Because I fear that government has been turned over to the special interests, this moneyed interests. And a lot of the ideas that we have brought before us are filtered through the process and the wants, the needs, the desires of those who are more in control of the country today. So what I want to bring to the table is my personal experience, but also to be a watchdog over what we're doing in government today. Now, as far as personal experience, many of you know I'm an educator. I've been an educator here in Peoria for the last 34 years, working at the museum and also working part-time at Bradley University. And my wife is a retired educator, so I certainly bring the perspective of educators to the table. My daughter is actually a teacher as well. And so educators have a special, I think, on-the-ground experience with the problems in education today, and we want to address those. And certainly I, as an educator, have on-the-ground experience here in Peoria. You know, and I work with one of the projects, the 21st Century Grant at Harrison School. I bring firsthand experience to the table, and that incredible program that Ms. Reed is in charge of. And then also as a scientist, I bring a certain amount of skepticism and an ability to deal with and evaluate the facts. I'm very concerned that government today is controlled by what we call the climate of the internet disinformation era. Facts and internet rumors seem to rule rather than non-facts and internet rumors tend to rule rather than real data. And I want to try and get and provide to you, the voters, the best information possible, information you can trust. I'm a consumer of healthcare, and my wife is a consumer of healthcare, and we have observed firsthand a lot of the problems with the healthcare system and how they're not being addressed by the current administrations. I have an aging parent now that I certainly have concern about, and in fact I took this last weekend off from campaigning to visit my father in Ohio. He's 95 years old, and I know I don't want to go more than a few months without seeing him. I'm near Social Security age, actually Social Security age myself, but I have to keep working and working my 2 jobs because I can't afford to retire without my full 66 years into the system. I have firsthand experience with that. My son-in-law is a naturalized United States citizen. I have perspectives on the immigration system and the immigration problems that you could not imagine, perhaps. And certainly I've had a lifetime of service, but some overseas, serving with my church group in Haiti, and starting my career in the United States Peace Corps, serving in India. And I bring a lot of that perspective to the table as well. And I'm frugal, and I've worked in the nonprofit sector all my life, and I think I know how to deal with money or lack of money well and be a good steward of your tax dollars. I'm an independent voice. That's the nature of the Green Party. We don't have any party honchos who are dictating policy to us. We're out here on our own, and I certainly think that that's what we need, an independent voice in Washington now, a voice that can stand up to the other 2 parties and say that's not right. Thank you.
My question is, if you were elected for this seat, would you support term limits for your position? And if so, why? If not, why not?
Well, I have been a strong advocate of term limits since the very beginning of this campaign and the campaign in the previous cycle as well. I've said that we should encourage the concept of citizen politicians. And that means it shouldn't be a career position that you're in for your entire life. And I think I'm close enough to retirement age that you can trust and believe me when I say that I don't intend, nor do I believe that it should be a career thing. If we want politicians responsible to the citizenry, we have to have them return to the citizenry within a foreseeable amount of time. And I would say for the Senate seats, 2 terms or 6 years would be about right, and for congressional seats, probably 5 terms, 10 years or something thereabouts would be about right, very similar to the term limits we have on the presidency. We absolutely need term limits.
I want to take a little bit off on what Sheldon said when he said that what we don't want, or what we do want, are citizen representatives, and what we don't want are career politicians. And like Sheldon, I'm close to his age, not quite the same, but close to his age, and so I'm not interested in being a career politician. I wish our opponent, who is not here with us this evening, who, although he's only 29 years old, is a career politician, because that's really the only job that he has, was here to answer that question for you. And I think it shows disrespect to the people in this community that he did not show up this evening to talk with you. So now I will answer your question about term limits. If the people voted for term limits, I wouldn't mind at all. I would not mind subjecting myself to term limits. But here's one of the things that I want to put out into people's minds, and it's based on some experience that I had when I served in the state of Missouri. There is a lot of disillusionment and a lot of anger among the American voters today because they say that money has too great of a place in our political system, and that special interests have too great of a place in our system. If we place term limits on our elected representatives, I'm not going to say that it will or will not happen, but I just want to put out this word of caution. It is quite possible that money and lobbyists and special interests will have even more of a say in Washington, D.C. than they have right now.